pretty much just arrived on Skinham Creek now, which is where the finish was. If you saw the last video, thankfully it's now daylight, so you can certainly see what I was up against. And nearly left behind a shoe, which really would be pretty bad news. That does really go in steep there. So this river does actually drop. You would think it would go out and then just kind of gradually get deeper. It is like a really deep section. You just actually see where I finished on the last trip, which is in darkness. I don't know if there is enough depth to get into that area now. That was a huge peak of spring tide. It's just a normal tide now. As you can see, it's now empty. You can just see the grass bank behind the branch. Thankfully all of today's route will be in full daylight. This is now the morning high tide. You can see there's quite a lot of small islands which certainly weren't there the last time I came through, with the tide being as high as it was. See where we are at the moment, which is there. So that we kind of cross to this side. See how these conditions change now. So we come out onto the Tamar, onto the big river now. What I'll attempt to do is just pretty much go straight over. Pretty much the centre of this estuary is the border between Devon and Cornwall. So once we get halfway, we'll be crossing over onto the Devon side. See, it just looks as though it's moving away now. That is the drag. Pretty much central now. Around about the halfway point. I'm kind of guessing this buoy here would be the marker for Devon and Cornwall. Quite some swell here now. It shows it's always changing a matter of meters. Tamar North. Right. Moment, which is Tamerton Railway Bridge. There is a much bigger viaduct. It's round in the next creek, which we will hopefully make before the train actually comes down through. And this is Warleigh Point, what you see just in front of us. It's a fantastic weather for middle of October. And once we get around this Warleigh Point, you will see the huge viaduct on the other side. Not tall, but just incredibly long. Just here at the moment, which is Warleigh Wood, so we'll come around that and in towards the River Tavy, where we'll find the Tavy Railway train. Should be going over that at 11:40. That gives us 30 minutes. There's actually a 2-hourly service on the Cornish Lake line. You really need to be in place when the train does come through, because waiting 2 hours is pretty much impossible with the tide falling, and then you'd be left with large banks of mud. So we will have to actually be there at exactly the right time. And we're just coming up to Warleigh Point. So we'll have to go right out round the point, possibly a rocky ridge. Tamar and the Tavy do split up just the other side of this point, and the Tavy will go off to the right and Tamar straight down. Oh, what a fantastic sight. That is the River Tavy. Actually, it's a small stone built section of the viaduct as well. See what looks like a 30 miles per hour speed restriction on the bridge. I'm kind of guessing it'll be fairly noisy and it'll be clanking its way over when it does eventually show up, which hopefully it does. I only have approximate times of this, so it could actually appear any moment. Kind of hoping I'll actually hear it coming. Just going to leave the camera on now, just in case it suddenly does fly through. 10 knots speed limit through the bridge. So now I think we need to crack on before the tide starts to drop too quickly. And you can just see the village, that is Cargreen, over on the far side, which will be today's finish. So that is in Cornwall. We're actually in Devon at the moment, and the county boundary will be smack bang in the middle of the Tamar. There's a Tavy bridge, so we passed that. We now need to head right there, which is Cargreen Quay. Head towards this yellow buoy here. We do have a yacht coming towards us. Look at the depth. Only just over a foot, and that is it. So this will be just a load of mud in less than an hour. I won't be able to go any further to the left. Approaching the end now. It's coming into the village. The tide does actually still look quite high, which is really, really good. It really hasn't fallen that far. Should be a slipway just around the back. Spaniards in. This whole area actually looks abandoned. I guess that was the inn there. It's now gone.